What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day The Single Life, Season 4, Episode 5, Natalies Big Break. Now, let's get into Natalie. So, when we see Natalie, she's driving through the city of LA, and she is in a new car. I don't know if it's new or used or what, but it's new to her for sure because Josh has bought her a car. Josh said that he is really proud of Natalie. He's really proud to see how far she's come. He's proud to see how much she's accomplished. And I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about. I don't know what she's accomplished and what she's overcome because Natalie to me comes off as extremely needy, extremely whiny. She needs to be pampered. She needs to be taken care of. She needs to be spoiled. So when he's talking about all of her accomplishments and her doing so well for herself, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Maybe something that happened in the previous season, which I'm definitely not privy to. So he buys her a car for her to get around on her own. He probably got sick and tired of paying for her Ubers and her Lyfts and or having to drive her around himself. So he's like, you know what? It's just a better investment for me to get her own damn car because in the long run, I'm going to have less of a headache. So Josh has set up an interview for Natalie to interview with his cousin who works at a chiropractic clinic called The Joint. Now, I wonder if this is the same chiropractic chain that is owned by or used to be owned by Mia from the Real Housewives of Potomac, her and her husband and her husband's family, because they also own a chain of chiropractic clinics called The Joint. So I'm really curious if this is the same type of clinic that Mia owns, or if this is the same clinic that Mia owns, or even the font of the wording in front of the building where it says The Joint, the font, everything about that is exactly like the way Mia's chain of clinics look like. Anywho, so Natalie has an interview at The Joint with one of Josh's cousins, who I guess is like the manager there or something. So the cousin tells us that he has met Natalie before, and the first time that he met her, it was at some type of a social event that Natalie and Josh had attended. She seemed really awkward, you know, and they showed us the clip of when the cousin and Natalie met for the very first time. And yes, Natalie was awkward. She was distant. She wasn't really speaking too much. She was very standoffish. So they start the interview and she absolutely bombs the interview. It was horrible. I don't understand why Josh didn't give her any tips on how to do an interview because it was horrible. I mean, she was absolutely not prepared. She didn't even have her resume with her. Now, she says that she told him that she has worked in some type of administrative capacity before, so she's familiar with customer service and all of that, but she had no resume to back it up. And even if she did have a resume, it wouldn't have mattered because her resume is written in Ukraine. He asked her like what was her previous job experiences. She said that she used to work in a bookstore, so she knows how to sell books. And that's when he asked her, well, are you familiar with like answering the phones and dealing with customers and dealing with the public? And she says, yes, I am. So then he asked her, what capacity did you exhibit those type of skills? Like, what were you doing before where you had to utilize answering phones and dealing with customers? And she couldn't think of a single job in the past that she's had where she was utilizing those type of skills. So then he asked her, well, if someone who's very close to you, if they were going to describe you, how would they describe you? And you're supposed to say, well, they would describe me as being dependable, honest, a hard worker, reliable. I know how to prioritize, whatever. Instead of saying anything like that, she says, oh, well, Josh would say that I'm very needy. And she said it with like a lot of pride in her voice, you know, like she was saying a good thing. And so the cousin was like, okay. And then to make it even worse, when you think that this interview cannot have possibly gone any worse, she asked the cousin, do you have a relationship or have you spoken with the mother of Josh's second child? And the guy was like, I don't ask Josh questions about his personal life. And I'm just like, Natalie, how do you not know like the most basic of things when it comes to an interview? So she absolutely bombed that interview. Needless to say, she never heard back. She never heard back from the guy. So the next time that we see Natalie, her and her mom are going to be hosting a dinner party for Josh's friend, and the friend's girlfriend. And this particular friend of Josh is in the movie industry. He's a movie producer. So Natalie and her mom, they prepare the dinner. They prepare traditional Ukrainian meals, and the people come over. And before the food is even plated, Natalie brings up the fact that she is a performer or something like that, or she's an actress, but she's not a professional actress, and she wants to recite some Shakespeare for them. So it took everybody by surprise, okay, as it should. And so they were like, okay, yeah, go for it. So she literally like gets into character. Oh, she's sitting at the dinner table. Like, she's literally getting into character. Like, she lowers her head, I guess, like to gather herself. And then all of a sudden she lifts her head up, and y'all, it is showtime. I mean, you can almost envision that spotlight right on her face. And so she begins to recite some Shakespearean verses, but she recites it in Ukraine. And nobody knows what the hell she's saying, but I have to admit, because she is a natural performer, because she loves attention and she loves to put on the show and she loves it when everybody's looking at her, she did do a good job. She did do a good job because she was very dramatic about it. We don't know what she was saying. Well, we knew as the viewer because they put the subtitles on, but the people there didn't know, other than her mom, didn't know what the hell she was saying. But she said it with so much conviction, with so much drama. She put a lot into it, and it ended up like actually it came out pretty good. So the producer friend, after that, they clapped. Everybody clapped for her. And then the producer friend offered her an audition for a horror film that he's producing. Just like that. She bombed the interview, but she did really well with her little Shakespearean recital. And so the guy offered her an audition to come in and audition for a part in his horror film. And I don't know what's going to happen as far as that goes, like, because her accent is very, very pronounced. So I don't know how they're going to work around that, if that's going to be an issue. Because even if you have a very strong regional accent, like a very strong New York accent or a Southern accent or a very strong Boston accent, it can kind of limit your roles, right? You have to kind of work around that. You have to try to fix it, because you don't want to be typecast in certain roles, and you want to be universal. You want everybody that watches you to somehow relate to you. And if you sound too New York or too Southern, a lot of people won't be able to relate. Okay, fine. So with her, with this really thick Ukrainian accent, I don't know what she's going to do. But if she's going to play a villain or a monster, I think she would do absolutely wonderful, because, honey, those big, scary, icy blue eyes of hers, baby, they could scare the hell out of anybody. Moving on to Tyree. So Tyree is trying to get his damn groove back. So he is taking a boys trip with his two brothers to New Orleans. So when they get to New Orleans, the brothers are trying to like give him advice on how to pick up girls or whatever. And one of his brothers tells Tyree, maybe you need to be more of a bad boy, because women are attracted to the bad boy. And Tyree is like, no, I'm always going to be myself. Okay, fine. So they all go out for drinks. They're walking through the city of New Orleans. They go out for drinks. So they're sitting in this outside bar. And right next to them is a group of women, right? And just random women who happen to be sitting next to them. Nothing special, right? But baby, the way they talked about those women, it was as if supermodels were sitting at that damn table. So they were like, oh my God, look at those women. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. And so Tyree looked over, and one particular lady caught his eye, and it happened to be the one and only single woman in the bunch. So one particular lady catches his eye, and she was just like a regular schmegular looking girl. She wasn't, I don't know, some supermodel, but she wasn't, dowdy either. She was just your average looking woman. She had on like a tank top or something, so you could see her tattoo. She had a lot of tattoos. Her hair was up in a bun. So it wasn't, she was very casual, out with her girlfriends having drinks. That's all that was. It was nothing special. But when Tyrese saw her, he was like, oh, she was so beautiful. I loved her red hair and she had the tattoos and da da da. He was really stricken by her, right? So the guys go over to the table. They start up a conversation. They introduce Tyrese to whoever. And Tyrese's pickup line is, I was in a relationship with a man for 4 years. And he starts laughing. He busts out laughing. And his brothers, of course, are cringing in embarrassment. And so the women are confused, but they work it all out. They understand that he was catfish. He really wasn't in a relationship with a man. He was being catfish. They work it all out. And so then him and that particular woman that he, found attractive, they get their own table. And they start conversating. I don't know if this matters or not, but the lady's Caucasian. I'm not saying that it matters. I'm just giving you the details of the story. So her and Tyrese have a table to themselves and they're beginning to have a conversation. And it was a really decent conversation. They talk about past relationships. She talks about her ex. He talks about his. They exchange. Oh, he asks her, so are you willing to, see me again, or do you want to hang out again? And she was like, sure, we can hang out again. She kept on calling him a teddy bear, saying that he was, he was like really cute, like a teddy bear. And they exchange phone numbers. And so they're supposed to see each other the very next day. So Tyrese, he's out there, y'all. Tyrese is outside. He is out there. He is trying to, mingle. He's single, trying to mingle. We'll see how that goes. I cannot take Tyrese getting his heart broken for a third time. I pray to God, though, whatever plans he makes with this woman, that she at least shows up. At least do that. Well, I'm not even hoping for a love connection. I'm not hoping for marriage. I just need her to at least show up. We know that she is who she is because he met her in person, not online. So can she at least please just show up? Moving on to Shantel. So it's the morning after her little date with Giannis, when her and Giannis were walking through the city of whatever, and they were holding hands and whatever. So it's the day after. So her friends were disappointed because she gave them all the details of the first date, and her friends were disappointed that nothing more didn't happen. And I'm like, what are y'all trying to do? Like, are y'all trying to why does more have to happen? It was a very nice, casual, pleasant evening out with a young man. They're trying to get to know each other. Like, what did y'all expect? There was nothing wrong with that date, but her friends were like, and y'all didn't do this, and y'all didn't do that, and y'all didn't kiss, and y'all didn't hump, and it was just like, look, she's in a foreign country. She doesn't know this guy from a can of paint. Can we please slow the hell down? So Giannis invites Shantel and her friends to hang out with him and his friends at the beach. And so when Giannis tells us that he wants to know if him and Shantel, have a lot in common. He wants to know if they have the same family and religious values. So he's really trying to get to know her and see, is this a potential woman, that I could eventually start dating and maybe catching feelings for. So at the beach, they're all hanging out, having a good time. They're drinking, playing in the sand. Everyone's having a really good time. And then Giannis and Shantel, they walk off to have a chance to talk alone. So Giannis asks Shantel what went wrong in her 7-year marriage to Pedro. And Shantel said that his family got really, really involved with their relationship, and she felt like his family was using her to get American citizenship. And so she tells Giannis that her ideal man would be an orphan because she is tired of the family drama. So Giannis tells her, well, that's not good. And he tells her that, I'm very close with my family. Family is very important to me. And, Shantel is kind of like giving him the side eye because she's been down this road before. And he's like, but I know how to separate my love life from my family. So, there is no family drama here. So then he asks her, would she consider moving to Greece? And she was like, well, no, not really, unless I had a really good reason to move to Greece. And so this is when he took his opportunity to lean down and give her a kiss. And give her a kiss he did. I felt like within that kiss between Giannis and Shantel, there was a lot of passion. I think that there was chemistry because it didn't stop there. They got into the water and, She wrapped her arms and legs around him in the water, and it got even a little bit more romantic in the water. They continued kissing. After that, they got back on the beach, and they were laying on the beach together, and she went in for another kiss, and they kissed some more. So there's definitely an attraction between them, and there's definitely chemistry between them, but we'll just see. I just want to know, what is the end goal? Okay. So she says that, she doesn't really want to date a man who's like super duper close with his family, or whose family can get involved in their relationship. But she's willing to date a foreign man again. So Pedro did not turn her off with international love. So what is the end goal though? Does she want to move to Greece, or is she expecting to have a long distance relationship, or is she expecting to go through the 90-day visa process again with Giannis and bring him to America? Because she has yet to mention what she hopes to accomplish with going to a whole nother country to try to find love. And then what? Long distance? You're moving there, he's moving here. Like, what are we doing? I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand why she would want to go through another foreign or international relationship again. With the whole 90-day process and the visa and the this and the that, especially since she felt like Pedro's family was using her for a visa. Or that Pedro himself was using her for a visa. Moving on to Veronica. Not much happened with Veronica. We're still at that scene where Jamal and Tim got into that verbal altercation because Jamal doesn't like Tim. Tim doesn't like Jamal. And the root of the problem is Veronica herself. Because Veronica tells Jamal all the negative things that Tim says about him and their relationship. So Jamal is very heated whenever he's around Tim. And Tim is just expressing his thoughts and opinions, what he thinks about Jamal to Veronica, because him and Veronica are really close. So the problem is Veronica. You don't take the information that Tim is giving you, or the things that Tim is saying in confidence, and then go tell it to Jamal, because then Jamal is going to be sour towards Tim. Then you're going to be sitting there in the middle looking crazy whenever you say, I just don't understand why y'all don't get along, because you don't want them to get along. I don't know if she's using Tim as like a buffer to avoid getting too deep with Jamal, because she knows. I don't know what Veronica's doing, because I'm just like, if you want them to get along and you want it to work out, and you want it to work out with Jamal, don't tell Jamal the negative things that Tim is saying. So Jamal and Tim, they're going at it, and then Jamal walks away, and Tim felt like when Jamal walked away, he was acting immature. He felt like he should have stayed. They should have argued it out or talked it out, or, saw it to the very end, instead of him walking away in the middle of their argument. Veronica gets on Tim's case, like she's blaming Tim for starting this argument. Jamal is off in the corner somewhere with his two friends, and he tells his friends that Tim will never like anyone that Veronica dates. Jamal wants Tim to stop talking crap about him. Okay, right there it proves that Veronica is feeding him a lot of negative information from Tim. And I don't know why neither man can see that and put the blame on Veronica, because that's really what should have been happening. But she just sat there, innocent as pie, like she's not, the catalyst for any of this. And I like Veronica. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I like Veronica, but I just don't understand why she would do that. And I don't understand why her, a mature woman with a daughter, would think that she can have anything serious with a young guy like Jamal, who, to me, I feel like Jamal is just out to have a good time. He's got a little bit of a little bit of notoriety under his belt from his mom being on the show, from him being on the show. I'm pretty sure his inboxes or his DMs are full. So I don't even know why he's playing with Veronica like this, knowing damn well that he is not going to have anything serious with her. And I don't see why Veronica's too blind to see that. Anyways, it was a so-so episode. It's whatever. But y'all, that girl Natalie tickled me when she lowered her head to get into character and started reciting Shakespeare in Ukraine. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.